And here we go, everybody. Thank you all for coming to Stone Soup. Thanks for everyone who had the strength to even just press a button, dial a phone. This is an exhausting day today. There's as much to be worried about as there is to feel good about. I went to bed last night when everything was still neck and neck. And then when I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, it looks like we were going to be 1-for-1. But now Georgia has turned blue with such neighbors as Alabama, Mississippi, and Rhode Island? No, Florida. I'm not surprised. It's God. If I grew around if I was Georgia and grew around a family like that, I'd go blue and I'd like uproot myself and cause a continental divide and go force myself up north and move to Lake Michigan. Anyway, that's about as much as I have for deep thought right now. We are gonna have more of it tonight because our feature tonight is Mignon Ariel King, poet, novelist, memoirist, memor writer. I forget if memoirist is a word. It should be.
It is as far as I'm concerned. But I'm
Fair
not
enough.
short
Also,
novel,
but not just
novella writer, not novel.
Oh, sorry, novella writer.
Novella.
And not only that, but also editor, publisher of my book, a score of other books, including Mojo,
Is this recording?
including Telltale Inklings, including many, many more to come. She is featuring tonight. It is her birthday, so we can all sing happy birthday later on. She snuck that one on me. She doesn't have that listed on her Facebook list. So usually when I'm posting events ahead of time, I get everyone's birthdays up, or I try to, and she just went like over my head. So so we can get revenge by singing happy birthday to her late now.
Right.
Or later. We'll figure it out. But let's get to the open mic because we have a lot to say. We have a lot to get off our chest, whether or not we address the subject. I suspect some of you will. I suspect others will lose themselves in what other works they're working on. And we will go on from there. For now, let's go on to our poet, the poet. This is actually a sneak preview by way of open mic introduction. He's going to be the feature for Stone Soup on the 13th. He's been doing a lot for the open mic and a lot for Oddball Magazine as of late. He is, and also doing a lot publishing wise on New Verse News and other sites, trying to keep up with the news with his words as much as anyone can now. Hint, it's almost impossible. Spoilers, but he does his best. And here's a preview of what you can have if you tune in on the 13th. This is Mr. John Wesick.
Thank you. Could everybody who's not reading please mute? I'm getting a little bit of an echo here.
I'll do the mute. I'll do the mutes for you. And I think there you go. I think we're all good now.
Okay, thank you. Don't mock Hitler's mustache. At Yalta, while America wore olive drab or navy blue, the ad man wore a silk tie and jacket of vicuña wool. After Stalin left, the ad man spoke to leaders of grounds fertilized by 500,000 dead from bullet, bomb, and flame. Words hurt. How can we heal by saying the master race ran death camps? How about the predominant genealogy hosted repose resorts instead? Appointing Adolf Eichmann head of Health and Human Services would be seen as a gesture of goodwill. For effective messaging, use these substitutions. Not anti-Semitism, but Aryan pride. Not National Socialism, but civic communitarianism. Not totalitarianism, but discipline and order. Not sneak attack, but dazzling advance. Not world war, but macrocosmic contest. Not Holocaust, but extermination engineering. With my strategy, you'll win the war of ideas. I mean, the altercation of abstractions.
Politically correct. It's not just for the left anymore, if it ever was. Thank you, John. And up next, calling everyone at random here. It's my right. Let's welcome up next. She probably has one ear to the news, one ear to us. I'm grateful for that. And let's welcome up. Oh, now I get to unmute her because she joins in through my joined call. Oops. Oh, I see what's happening. You are unmuted now, Carol. Ladies and gentlemen, Our Lady Queen of Stone Soup, Carol Weston.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Joanna's the queen of soap. Joanna Nealon is the. Anyway, so this is sort of prose, I guess. Reverend Raphael Warnock is voted in Black Senator of Georgia. Oh, in the Nancy says in the Martin Luther. He's in the Martin Luther King Church. The forces of heaven are speaking out of the disaster. Prayer is mastery. The stars are speaking for this one moment in time. We are moving the speed of light. God has his hands on the wheel, listening to humanity. Perhaps I'm going to die tomorrow, chronologically speaking. But meanwhile, I can stand and sing. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we travel afar. And Joanna Nealon Ingham says, those gifts are gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Reverend Raphael Warnock is our gold, frankincense, and myrrh for today. Three Kings Day of Epiphany. No, where's one? Oh God, we may have to. I thought I found it, but nope. Oh, it's gone. Okay, the poem is gone. Can I come later?
Not a problem. We'll come back to you later. I'll.
Thank you.
Yep,
Because I've lost
it right now, and we'll go to my man, Gentleman Galt, Edward Galt. Just got.
Thank you very much. Boy, a lot of fear going after today, huh? I really liked that poem, John. Really did. That was great. Yeah, behind me here, my backdrop is something I found off a Carl Jung site. Is a painting off a Carl Jung site, kind of depicting the dream state. I thought I kind of liked it. Anyway, my poem tonight is called Curio Shop. I don't think I read it in a while, and it speaks to the fear that I think a lot of us are feeling on both sides for different reasons. So usually I read this at Halloween, but today I thought would be a good time too. Speaks to the inner state of the mind. It's called Curio Shop. On my way home late one night, I stopped to look into the window of a curio shop. I couldn't see much. It was dark except for a light in the rear. A figure entered from the back room. At first I thought he was a staff member, perhaps working overtime. But he began taking all the clocks off the back wall and throwing them down on the floor. He took what looked like a baseball bat and finished the job by smashing them to bits. He cleared off all the shelves of the figurines and ground them to powder with his heel. He smashed all the cases and pulverized all the contents. Jewelry, watches, and little picture frames. All smashed to bits. He didn't leave anything. The floor was covered with debris. He stopped to survey his work to make sure he hadn't omitted a single detail. He was close to the front of the store where I stood, just outside. When he turned to look out, I could see his face. It was me. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Always a pleasure to have you on. We're going to go now to Jan Rowe, who I believe is waiting in the background or holding the phone and ready to turn it to herself. Either way. Just there you go.
You can hear me?
Perfectly.
Because I'm on the phone.
We can
Okay.
hear you.
Tonight, okay. Tonight, it's not the QAnon, but it's Q's questions. I'll try not to overdo it. Where were these stop the stealers when Diebold, the Republican makers of election machines, said they would deliver for G.W. Bush, and they did? Where were they when Black Republican Ohio Secretary of State forgot to turn on the security for the Ohio election in 2004? Where were they? Why would a Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVoe, be able to have a college debt collection business? Oh, how long did it take to hack the Diebold voting machine to make them play the Wisconsin fight song? And why did the Irish junk theirs for scrap metal? These Diebold voting machines. Why does Ivanka have a brand, quote unquote, brand for Chinese voting machines and coffins? Did it happen that the meat pack owners were no longer charged for bringing in Mexican citizens to lower the wages of the meat pack workers? How many people knew that Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, kept meat packers working without protection to send meat to China? Two more. How is it that Trump Kushner gave Saudi Arabia nuclear secrets within a few days of Khashoggi's murder and dissection? And how did Trump and Khashoggi and Mohammed bin Salman or Mohammed Bonsaw's close friendship? How did Trump end that? Thank you. Sorry to be so dark.
No problem. Thank you, Jan.
You're
And
fine, buddy.
with that,
What?
let's see, I think we have, yes, we have our musical interlude now. The man I call this Pulse of Stone Soup, but he's more the Pulse of Boston at this point. Let's welcome up Mr. Ethan Mackler.
Thank you, Chad. Back to you, Chad, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday indeed to Mignon. And before we go any further, we have one last person on the open mic. It's a short open. Oh, looks like we do have someone who just came on.
Oh,
My God, we have
I'm
a
not
couple.
going on the mic. I'm not going on the mic. Hi, Mignon. Hi, everyone.
Aw, okay. Hi, Tony.
Hi.
You sure you don't want to go on the mic?
No, that's okay.
John wants you to go on the mic. He just gave thumbs up. So that's another vote. And I think Mignon just nodded her head.
Okay.
Well, if I insist, if the world insists.
Okay. That's fine.
All right, it's popular opinion. It's internet law.
The following is a copy of a letter sent by the author's matter to the publisher. Phyllis was brought from Africa to America in the year 1761, between 7 and 8 years of age, without any affiliates from school education and by only what she was taught in the family, the Wheatley family. She, in 15 months' time from her arrival, attained the English language to which she was an utter stranger before, to such a degree as to read any, the most difficult parts of the sacred writings, to the great astonishment of all who heard her. As to her writing, her own curiosity led her to it, and this she learnt in too short a time that in the year 1765, she wrote a letter to the Reverend Mr. Ockham, the Indian minister while in England. She has a great inclination to learn the Latin tongue and has made some progress in it. This relation is given by her master who bought her and with whom she now lives, John Wheatley, November 14th, 1772. Happy birthday, Mignon. People, everything that's going on in DC is very interesting. There's a whole swath of the melanated country who we totally believe everything that's happening. I'm sorry for those who don't believe all this shit that's going down. We're probably recording. That's too bad. To be melanated, you would know. Or if you've been paying attention. I know James Van Loy knows. A lot of us on here knows. So, you know, Phyllis Wheatley, I just want to end on Phyllis Wheatley went before a trial of 18 men to kind of prove what her master said, and they still wouldn't allow her to be published in Massachusetts. I wouldn't either if I wanted to keep you enslaved, you dummy. Alas, she began to write a countess in England and went to England and got her work published. Like what's going on in DC now? Boston ought to be ashamed. Ought to be ashamed of what they did then and how we use the tactics of invisibility to still silence our very talented people of color. You all have no idea, those who do it. And you know, melanated people are in on this too. That's the only way the system works good. Those slave forts didn't get built by Europeans. Anyway, I don't mean to be racial. I'm just doing this whole project with Phyllis Wheatley. She's a tough subject. I remember there used to be a Phyllis Wheatley school in Boston. Anyway, I'm just falling in love with her again. By the way, her last name is Phyllis Wheatley Peters. She was married. So anyway, that was my poem. And I just wanted to celebrate her, to have her white master's words that tell me how good she were on my tongue.
Thank you so much, Tony. We will get to James Van Loy, but we did miss a part of a poem from Carol Weston. It looks like she may have lost a page. I'm going to see if Carol is able to come back on. Carol, are you able to come back on and finish? Or restart and finish? Carol?
Yeah, I've lost my poem, so I'll
Me
tell
too.
you if I find it. It's okay.
Okay, sounds good. I will take care of that for you then. And we'll go now to, yes, our finisher. Look for his column tomorrow, 11 o'clock a.m. in Oddball Magazine. His column, regular poem column, It's All One Thing. And let's welcome up, Mr. James Van Loy. Who needs to unmute himself. There you go.
Okay, can I go?
Yes, you can go.
Okay. So I got a quote here from Marshall McLuhan. Thank you. So I've got a quote here from Marshall McLuhan. It's called Your Government. Nose counting, a cherished part of the 18th century fragmentation process, has rapidly become a cumbersome and ineffectual form of social assessment in an environment of instant electric speeds. The public, in the sense of a great consensus of separate and distinct viewpoints, is finished. Today, the mass audience, the successor to the public, can be used as a creative and participating force. It is instead merely given packages of passive entertainment. Politics offers yesterday's answers to today's questions. And I have this poem called The Next Iteration. They keep saying how divided we are. Never has there been such a partisan divide. As if we never had a civil war that killed over 600,000 people, South rising up against North and splitting the old party lines into new formation. But what they refuse to even mention, much less talk about, is the vast disinformation, really propaganda campaign deployed my entire lifetime in Madison Avenue ads, but then ramped up in the 1970s to paroxysms of Chamber of Commerce manufacturing organization combined with gobs of billionaire billions to buy politicians, made legal in 1976 and 1978 by Supreme Court Supreme saying money is speech. And they put out a flood of lies to upend official reports and scientific consensus process and create a debate about established fact and sully and deform any vestige of the truth that might survive the information war, come culture war, that has left us unable to talk to those people, family members, friends, even lovers and closest confidants. So we can only wonder how did it so finally come to this ugly, awful place when it's all been done with such technical skill, such public relations panache, such consummate professional standards of production and display. Thank you.
Thank you very much, James. And with that, no one else seems to have joined us new, although if there's a new connection, I will definitely have them kind of speak out to the open mic. We'll have an impromptu second half. Why not? We're making good time tonight. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the next person who is as of so far, the final person for the night, the main person for the night, the main feature, Mignon Ariel King, to whom I owe a lot, to whom many, many writers owe a great deal to for her tireless work, even as she's been working between homes to still continue to put out amazing product, Telltale Inklings, the journal, my book, other books, and also putting out books by herself through other publishing companies. Let's hope Nix's make it on that collection of yours. They're finally getting back on track. But this person deserves to be more widely published, more widely read than even she already is. Let me give you the boilerplate. Mignon Ariel King, she was born in Boston, Massachusetts. She has never left her home time zone. An alumna of Simmons University, she worked for a decade as a database assistant by day at a lot of companies that no artist cares to remember, and as an adjunct English instructor by night in 2011. King has created Hidden Charm Press, and she founded Telltale Chapbooks in 2013. Her blog is Making Books Rock, and her latest poetry collection is My Life as a Mask, all available at the usual bookstore sites. I asked Mignon to feature, she was one of my first people who I asked to feature back in the day when I was starting the Stone Soup Post, and not only she featured her own work, she's also featured people from the long-lived Mojo anthology, which included a lot of new readers to Stone Soups. I always appreciate her efforts in getting new voices out, and I appreciate that she gets to share her voice with us for the next 20 odd minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, you're all in the treat. You all in for a treat. Let's put your hands together. Let's say 20 to 30 times for the birthday girl, the birthday feature, Mignon Ariel King. Mignon, take it away. Just gotta unmute yourself.
There we go. Oh, the power. Thank you for having me on my secret birthday reading.
A very secret birthday. I'm usually up on these things. I totally forgot and didn't see.
I got one past you. But before I read, I want to note that I've self-published the book I'm reading this evening, which is My Life as a Mask, through Hidden Charm Press. And I just wanted to say that Hidden Charm Press is 10 years old this year. So to celebrate the 10th anniversary, there'll be an anthology later. So I'd like to ask Black women writers to submit to Hidden Charm Press for the 10th anniversary 4th of July issue.
Listener.
Are you losing me? We've lost.
We have you. We have you.
Okay. All
Keep
right.
going.
So just to make those two notes, I think that's all there is. Hidden Charm Press on WordPress. Email is mojo_HCP@outlook.com. And the press.
We'll put that up tomorrow.
Okay. And the press was founded in memory of my mother, and her birthday is in February. So just get all of that out of the way. I'm not going to read poems about my mother tonight because it's been an emotional day. So, as Chad mentioned, I've been bouncing around since August 2019. My rent went up $100. I thought I was moving for a couple of months. I have moved 11 times since. Any place you can think of for a person to sleep that's reasonably safe. All sorts of roommates, friends, couches, somebody's mattress on the floor, you name it. And this is a poem that I wrote, the opening poem. So this is the longish one, and don't worry, it's the only long one. So, minding my own business. My own business, part one. A decade and some change ago, a comment demanded that I fill in supposed blanks in my poetry with backstory. I was offended, defensive. An organic artist, even I don't presume to tell my poems what to do or say. Each poem has its own voice, story, personality. Some share, others guard. That's how it is. Eventually, however, after having a first collection published, I began another, 150 poems. That's how many drafts of autobiography were gristed through the trilogy mill. 150, and many about family. I've writing plans this summer, but those last 50 poems aren't finished with me. Veins in my forehead throb a warning. If this plague had exterminated you, the superfluous fourth daughter by false definitions, well, write for her, the her unheard, who might exist somewhere and not have my big mouth. Part 2, well turned. This is based on a very old-fashioned expression, so if you haven't read a lot of 19th century British lit, people used to talk about legs as a well-turned leg. And then, ooh, nice calves. So, well turned. My mother praised each dawn, but I saw few of those. Outside of insomnia, when I lie awake and curse lights slipping under sheets layered like shale, sun pounding in, a hot hail, never mind. This leg is about her, the her I knew and from whom I sprang, and those little girls, now women and yet to be borns. My journey shortens soon, I'm convinced, while women who treat each other like inconveniences keep going along as if we weren't in, what, the fourth, the fifth wave, suffragettes, women's lib, girl power. What was it for? Even after 75, my mother's legs turned heads, but there was more. Part 3, so much more. And I must truth awaken every pebble while climbing uphill. Goddess, always uphill. Where to? Why for? The rain will splash loose, steam uprising as this world griddles itself, and the bad anniversaries never end. I'm sorry to tell you, but they just don't. They won't. We're designed to remember some sad facts, not the simple feelings. What are those, after all? How do they get so much done? They have no feet or legs or hips, backs to speak of, yet eternally in one's head. The mind races ahead, keeping up the pace while I trip. This is the fear, not the smashing of bones, but the falling. Part 4, my sword. Dismiss it all as poor folks' therapy, my telling this ugly tale. I dislove being homeless. And why isn't that a story? Stay home, save lives. Self-congratulatory pop schlock. It feels good. Whereas hearing about a day spent on the T well into night during pandemic curfew, plastic covering the seats, the air toxic with more than just germs, the hostility, it's icky and it makes people shiver, feeling that having is their criminal privilege. Being bored enough in lockdown to build stone walls and scaffold outdoor kitchens. Maybe you care what color the pizza oven is. Maybe my they is you, suddenly feeling really small. But you see difference and hear difference and speak difference, or we'll all fall down. Some countries solve homelessness by doling out places to live. Simplistic? Look around, surround sounded by bigotry and vile bile. Now imagine me, tripping down rented stairs like a Gothic protagonist without making a sound. Yop. I'm skipping the end of this poem. It's, as I said, a little bit long, but that's just to give you a general introduction to this, what I call snow-mad nomad existence. This is, in my defense, the orthotics were prescribed. Everything I own, including a gigantic sofa, has been in storage, and I go back and pick at pieces of it. So this is one of my adventures, indubitably strange. Visiting my apartment, stacked 8 feet high. I'd stretched on tippy toes to approximate 6 feet and reached up one-armed 90 degrees at the wrist to check the height and leeway before entrusting that an 84-inch, practically velvet and firm cushion teal sofa, plus the nearly abandoned black silver model bed frame would fit. But today, I planted one acrophobic summer-shoed foot on the seat of my hall tree, hoisting torso and Mitzi Gaynor gams via the baker's rack, swirled sides, reminding just one pass or you'll fall. 3 boxes in, my black and white running shoes, fished out blind. And I'm skipping to one of the places I stayed. The good parts of staying with my friends Kevin and Steve in Eastie that first summer. We had a blast, so I wanted to keep them in here. You can only keep a plot of beach for so long. No rooms for rent nearby. A walk on the sand, singing as loud as I please till some guy shows up. What a bore. Camera too close to the only 3 women within my range. 20 bikini strollers nearby are scanning the shore for validation. Why doesn't he go snap over there? Leave me turtled in with my poems. But I move first, errant along the shore, toward more errands, waiting for landlord callbacks as autumn dips one toe in the tide. I won't cite ichthyology charts, nor harried Harbor Island's lore. I just long for my denim jacket, shoulders unfurled once more. The summer of Dewey. It was deluging too bad for me to lose my voice walking Constitution Beach, sing yelling poems under the roar of outbound flights from the strip across the water. I proofread some days, dined nights on homemade parmesan or barely cooled enough to pounce on breads, and I'm allergic to most cats, but not Dewey. He'd doze behind my laptop screen until I'd forgotten he was there, moon beaming as I rose to stretch toward midnight snacks, house quiet, with sensible Steve gone to bed at a grown-up's hour, and Kevin doing the night shift as a Boston EMT. One charcoal day, Kevin lugged groceries into the kitchen and asked, "Are you sitting in the dark watching the rain?" That's such a poet thing to do.
Yeah, it is. Oops. Oh, shoot. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know why I can hear you. That's funny. I'm gonna go to Juggernaut. Give me a high sign, Chad, if I'm overindulging.
Keep going. I don't think that's
In the
possible
light.
on your birthday.
Thank you. I timed it, but Juggernaut. What were we training for? In white crisscross bras, barely cupping what was barely there. To suffer forever for having been born girls? We have definite stances on wearing a bra or not. There are 2 shirters, modest enough to conceal, but not willing to be trussed up. And blatant pointers, much like the public nursing women. Tough luck for those of us who don't care to bear witness. Then come we moderates, casually adding the hookup to our daily routine. We put little thought into the swing of things. Brain scrub. Before packages became time bombs left on the porch for hours, and ambulances, fire trucks, police cars slid somber down near empty streets, hopeful me bought this purple hair paste to fly my poet flag all April. Maybe outfits paired with boots in the mail still sitting in the post office box downtown. My sardonic side joking that my near homeless for 8 months status matched. If I don't get an apartment soon, I'll be living on the common. Half the apartments listed on the internet for most of the school year, with icy millennials calling for young professionals sit empty or half filled with care packages from parents whose brats snubbed the state of emergency flight. There's other stuff from a clear backpack that did not make it into storage. Scalp scrub. Will we ever forget? No. This is my best friend Sherry's favorite poem in the collection. She said the title is So Me. Well, I'm reading this for Sherry. In case the world ends while I'm downstairs getting ice cream. Cell phone in the pocket of a once natty black sweater jacket, with silver snaps giving it a military aspect. I came here after a once good friend called me militant, one time too many, before devoting 3 straight hateful hours to attempting to pick a fight. After, my venture into the rainy pandemic day for freaking paper towels didn't shut him the hell up. Lying awake until 3, 4 a.m. for days in case he snapped and killed me in my sleep. No exaggeration. It was too reminiscent of former me, the good girl, quiet 20-something, and slightly less well-behaved 30s, asshole roommates, pig-headed stalker. I'd had enough crap and too little sleep. No hope to believe this too shall pass. It was time, yet again, to pack my paper in recycled plastic totes. I was 16 the last time I counted on a man to save me. Only daddy. Always daddy. You know, pretty girls who are 40, 50, 70, they get saved. I get trucking and snacks. This is the last one in the collection. How am I doing on time?
I think you're doing fine on time.
Yeah? So
Oh, yeah.
I'm reading it last, but there's another poem I'd like to read after it. Is that okay?
Definitely.
Okay, then I'll do that. So this is in case I haven't mentioned this, these are very dramatic monologues, and they all depend on a form that people are calling the American sonnet scaffold free verse, which means they're all 14 lines, as is a Shakespearean sonnet. But as you probably noticed, there's no, I'm not following any metrical pattern or even rhyme, but every one of them is either a 14-line poem, or the longer ones are double sonnets. So it's 14, and then that's one stanza sort of, and then or one part, and then another 14. Découpage. Am I cut out for this? You're not average. I look in the mirror. So you've no right to disappoint me. I've waved you away several lifetimes in our one. Persisted who you are and let me be, or ask and give silence. Best summed up for all in simple fact, without dramatic props. I'm allergic to the mask. It chafes, reddens to blood, scars, and all else one might want to conceal, with science and squalene infusing my cellular turnover. It might strike you as melodrama, bare truth as subterfuge, a rouge of indiscretion to distract, redact. A reenactment mid-scene. I have fed you nothing but facts. Shall I powder my face? Pat, pat. Let you meld into the audience? Call me cabaret. Label me mere performer. I've no bitterness left, nor stage right in a one-woman theater. All told is all there. My shadow unoffended. My life is no film, no flimsy overcoat. And I want to read this last one because It's the only one that does have rhyme. It's an internal rhyme. So if you're not super into sonnets or rhyme poetry, you might not catch it. Don't worry, just enjoy. Wednesday at 5:36 a.m. Annoyed by the theory of dawn, I practiced snapping photos of its orange peach, dazzling its way into the blue-white plates of sky. Actress knowing humans cannot unsand a beach. To unfurl fresh day's air, no need to court it. Air gets around, don't you know? And my eyes unslept shuttered down, unreported. Though heeding the day to be, round rocking my brain to and fro, these are not phrases I've commissioned myself to flow. No matter what I am, that it sounds out is my heart's right. This is just the hour to make the verses sing, to book them up, then tuck them out of sight. Though I'll need to air grievances yet to bring, I'll practice sleep, deep sleep, as day will come. I sing. And thank you for listening. And this is the reveal for anybody who hasn't seen the whole book. My life is a mask. Ta-da! Can you see it?
Everyone,
Woo!
there we go. You like the commentary.
Thank you.
More.
We'll see what happens after that open mic. Chad told me to have stuff ready in case we have some time. So
Oh,
thank you
dear.
for listening. And Chad, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
sharing.
guys.
It's been so long.
Thank you, Mignon. I don't know if Mignon has a PayPal account, but if she does, she'll share it with me and we can post it tomorrow. And I do encourage you to go, even though Amazon is the devil, we didn't realize how much of a devil he would be growing into. He was only sort of evil, but now he's become mega evil. But we deal with the devils that we have to get the work out there.
Indeed.
And if you're gonna buy a book from him and just have your secondary address line be fuck Amazon or hey workers, we're with you. Order My Life as a Mask or any of other books or any of other journals. I believe all the volumes of Mojo are around still, as well as all the 5 issues of Telltale Inklings.
Yes.
All recommended, and highly recommend you grab those as well. Any final words, Mignon? Anything?
Gotta eat.
What's that?
I said a sister's gotta eat.
Yes. Please do what you can to support them. And
Do you have a place now?
What's that?
Do you have a place now, Mignon?
You mean a place to live?
Well, yeah. Are you more
Yes.
settled now?
I'm fine.
It's formidable, your work, how you can even write in the
Thank
midst
you.
of that. It seems like a little
it's-
friend.
Hey, that's survival, That's like, I think it's more like, why am I still here? Because of writing.
Mm.
Always saves my life.
Very well
Like my
spoken.
friend.
Very well spoken. And I'll get to posting those links later on. And I hope you guys, I wish you guys the best of luck in the next 24 hours. I'll still be around in 48 hours. I got to keep on going to work even after I die. That's in my contract. So you'll still at least see my Stone Soup Crouton poem on Friday, and you'll see a lot more on Oddball Magazine and hopefully some responses to everything that's been going on. You're encouraged to send your own yourselves, and just contact us at Oddball Magazine or myself. Check out the check out the Stone Soup Facebook group and the Friends of Oddball Magazine Facebook group. Check out my own website. There'll be more updates coming. And don't forget, next week we have John Wesick featuring at Stone Soup, and we'll have more announcements coming. John, are you able to turn your video on so we can do a final wave?
I am able to turn my video on.
Oh my God, is that a giant snail? Or a giant...
It's a wombat.
It's a wombat. Good.
It's a wombat. I love wombats.
Everyone was asking about the wombat after they saw the penguin. They were accusing you of like changing loyalties. Like Josh.
Yeah, the penguin was in New Zealand, actually. It's kind of funny, like Australia, New Zealand, even South Africa, they all have penguins. And it's because the water is cold, and so yeah, New Zealand had to go see the penguins. Anyway, okay, so Mignon said she only lived in one time zone, and I think by my count, I lived in 4 in maybe 11 different cities. Not all of my choice. So this is called the geography of memory. Opportunity's legs stretch for miles and miles. Its marathon of school and work whipsaws me across North America, shattering friendships and community. On a sprint east, I detour to my boyhood home, that L-shaped house on Columbine Lane, and recall how I built model airplanes, B-17, Spitfire, and ME-109 on a paint splattered table in a chilly gray basement, the air smelling of glue and enamel thinner, subsisting on Reese's peanut butter cups, sci-fi, cheese curls, and bad movies. I set world records for lack of sleep. Nights, I'd slide open the bedroom window facing the driveway, step onto juniper branches heavy with waxy blueberries, and rendezvous with DiNardo to play bazooka with bottle rockets and conduit pipe, as if suburban homes were king tigers overrunning the 101st Airborne. Later, in boots and purple jacket, I stood nighttime vigil outside Brenda's window while fantasizing some psychic embrace that would open the gates of manhood. Across Maple Avenue and through a maze of side streets squats the old high school that tortured me with 6th period gym, so the winter wind froze my hair into icicles, hats being uncool. Starbucks replaced Gary's drugstore. The barber who cut my hair so short I covered my shame with gallons of gel is gone, but the old railroad bridge still thunders terror from the bang and roar of overhead freights. I've walked these streets in memory for decades, searching for loves and adventures aborted by home leaving. In real life, I spent an hour. The magic that was those years, Vic's fake Russian accent, hanging out with Jean and Chaz at the bowling alley, and my girlfriend's job at the chicken place, now decayed to shopping malls and franchise brand blandness. There you go.
Just giving us one more good view of the wombat, and thank you again, John. And there's more of that where that came from. Not the wombat, the poetry. Well, maybe both. But
wombats next week.
Yes, and let's get together and have one more. Come on, one more video for one more final wave. I feel bad there wasn't a wave this week. So one. Oh boy, let's all get into the wave. Thank you very much. Rock away, and stop. Hold in place. Perfect. That'll be great. Excellent. And it's been a little crazy. I have to admit, I've been checking things online to make sure what's going on. And it looks like the girl was shot by law enforcement, or at least personnel within the White House. The calling of the National Guard was not from Trump. It was from Pence. Or at least that's what seems to be confirmed on Twitter. So the lunatics aren't even running the asylum at this point. It's going to be an interesting couple of days, and hopefully I will report as much of that and comment on as much of that as well. And you guys as artists do what you can. If things are interesting enough. I know that Philip Curtis, aka Midnight, is going to be holding an open mic on Friday, and if I can get the link information for that, I'll share it with you. He's asked me to come on, and if other people do want to come on too, that would be great. But other than that, I don't have much else. Take care of yourselves. Take care of everyone else around you as best you can. Yes?
Are we leaving now?
Do we have anything else to say?
No.
Well, here.
Happy birthday, Mignon.
Here's what we can do. We can stop the recording, and then everyone else can wonder what happened. For the rest of us, we've only just begun. For those of you watching on YouTube, the show's over. See you next time.